0.
It's Radio Zero with Rick and Rose. Friday, March. It's the Ides of March. The ideas of March, right? And I just realized I have to move the microphone. Sorry.
Oh, I thought yeah. You can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. Go to radiozero.us. Every other Friday, we try to live stream on the show at around 5 p.m. Central. We stream on Facebook on the Radio Zero page and on the Poster Children page, on Twitch at PCJCUSA, and on the Poster Children YouTube channel. You can patronize us at patreon.com/Radio Zero, and thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon.
I'm trying to look like my gynecologist. It's not working. She's so glamorous.
You need a smock.
No, she doesn't wear a smock. Are you kidding? She just wears a glamour, like a little eclectic. I always wonder if the doctors know that we're coming, and so they wear goofy socks, or they get a little more eclectic because they think oh well, they're punk rockers. I better dress crazy for them.
You mean the royal we?
The royal we, yeah, because you don't go to the doctor. You go to the doctor.
I go for regular appointment.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen your OBGYN in 20. No, I guess it would
Since
be.
She said
15, almost 15 years.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Push.
the age of our youngest child. That's how long ago.
Well, she wears severe glasses like this. She's got she's got big poofy hair. She's like a goddess. She's so beautiful. Okay. So I had a note to talk about Hank Donovan and Rattlesnake cables. Let's just jump right in here, shall we, Rick? I had a note to talk about him. The last time we did Radio Zero was 2 weeks ago, and then we had something else that we had to discuss. It was Dune, right? We had to do the Dune thing. That came before, but he had talked in my music business class. And so, the students loved him, clapped afterwards. It was so great, and it was such a weird thing because I every so often I take a chance and try to get somebody to talk in the music business class, because it's really hard to teach music business. You know what I mean? How do you? That's like teaching
business. Yeah,
is it? But. Well, I don't know. If I was going to teach business, I'd teach econ, and my students learn. They have to all the music business students. They all have to take different amounts of econ, and they have to. I think they have to take marketing and stuff like that. But and then they have to do ensembles and stuff. And they need a. Sorry to talk shop here, but they need a formal audition and stuff like that. But then to teach music business, the biggest. As you and I know, the biggest, most important thing to know about the music industry is that you just need to be friends with everybody, and you need to be nice, and then you can learn any part of it, really.
Networking.
It's networking. But, as one of our illustrious grads once said, not a music business grad, but said, networking is just being friends with people. I love that quote from Zach Buckley.
Making friends.
Making friends. Yeah, networking is just making friends. So... and when I was a youngster back in when I would have died if somebody I could never have handled getting a music business degree. I could never have handled having music business classes probably either, but because I wasn't very outgoing. But yeah, if somebody had told me I needed to talk to people and collaborate with them, I would have quit. But that's really what you need. Where am I going with this? So teaching music business, for me, I learned about the music industry from talking to people, right? Is that how you learned it?
Yeah, and reading.
And reading about it, yeah. So I have a textbook for students to read, which is the classic textbook that talks about all the streams, streams of revenue through the music industry, and there's either 50 or 100 or however many. There are 52 streams. There's more now. and so they read this textbook, and once in a while when I get a chance I read it to them, or I go over, like, this is what's in this chapter, be on the lookout for this, and each chapter is like between 4 and 10 pages long. But then I have music industry, like guest speakers who are making a living or doing something in the music industry. And that's, to me, that's like, and I've always had, I think that's the most important part, is just for people to like go, oh my goodness, this guy did this. I could probably do it. And once in a while, wow, that girl did this. I could probably do it too, because it's mostly guys. So anyway, Hank Donovan, I had him talk in my class. It was great. And he runs Rattlesnake Cables. And you have you want to talk about any Rattlesnake cable? I'm trying to remember what, it was just great having him on, zoom in on the screen.
Yeah, they're nice hand-built cables. They have this, the name Rattlesnake, I think, comes from the sleeve. It's kind of this, kind of scaly, not
mesh,
scaly,
yeah.
kind of, plastic mesh sleeve around them, not inside, but yeah. And so, they're hand built and they're high quality. And I have a few for my guitars, and I have a loom. I have a complex series of 4 kind of cables to run my looping stuff.
Yeah.
Audio.
So Joe Christmas says, I wish music business was a thing when I went to ISU. I think it probably was. And also, Joe, you should talk in my class. And Dannon says, happy Friday. And so I'm not going to like go through some of what students wrote about Hank. Just, like people were interested to know how the cables were made. I talked about who's the most famous person you ever made a cable for, and he told us Robert Smith. And he told us how that happened too, and it was through networking. It was like working through different, through guitar techs and stuff like that. Because think about the currency of knowing guitar techs and drum techs, and even just knowing sound people, right? Like in the music industry, that's a huge currency, and you can learn that by just going to shows and talking to people, because no one wants to talk to the guitar techs or the drum techs, right? Or the sound people, or the people who run the stages, right? No, people all want to talk to the guitarist, right? So those other guys are like they're wrapping cables or something like that, and you can just be like, "Hey, how's it going? What's going on here and stuff." So
and they say, "I'm working right now.
Please
leave
me
alone."
Yeah, yeah.
No, yeah. But yeah. And that's the other thing, is there are other jobs within the music industry that are not just performer, right? And so being a guitar tech for someone. And I'm trying to think of like maybe somebody who was a guitar tech who then became a well-known musician, and I can't remember. But
so never mind.
There are examples. No, there are plenty of examples. But also, just that part of networking too, right? Is if you're running sound at a club, right? Yeah. So what's his name from LCD Sound System? He was the sound guy at Brownies, I think.
Yeah. James Murphy.
Yeah, I think so.
How did that name come out of my head? That's crazy.
So there are all sorts of different connections that can happen.
Yeah. So one of my students, wrote, this is interesting because I tell them, tell me one interesting thing that you learned from this talk. And one student wrote, I didn't know how many bands choose to work with small manufacturers and often trust them more. Isn't that nice that somebody learned that? Because you don't, when you're young, you don't realize, what? I'm not, you come from maybe the suburbs, or you're just coming from, a place where people are just trying to make a living and stuff like that. And you go to Walmart because that's how you can, get the most for your money and stuff. And you don't really, you encounter, like a food co-op or something like that. And you're like, oh my God, that store is really expensive. I'd never go there. What kind of asshole runs that? And then, little by little you realize, oh geez, and I know I shouldn't be attacking a co-op right now. It's not the time to attack. But
what you're saying is that people don't, so
people don't realize, things are expensive because that's a real person behind the desk who's getting the money instead of a corporation.
Custom handmade boutique items, right? Or, just higher quality items, right?
Yeah.
And so that's artisanally made, right? And there's a value in that, and there's also a value in supporting, that business and that community.
Yeah,
That's
so
part of a community.
the Chris Rieger from Feed the Monkeys says Slipknot's current bassist was a guitar tech.
Yeah.
There you go.
I guess the current bass player ZZ Top was the bass. I think he was either the guitar tech or the bass tech. And when the bass player died a year or two ago, he's now playing, and he looks like a member of ZZ Top. Somebody who had been one of their techs for decades, right?
Yeah.
And then just
Yeah.
knows the band, knows touring, and has just stepped in, and now is the bass player, right?
Yeah, opportunity knocked. Gordon says some of Mercury Rev started as Flaming Lips guitar techs, right? Right is a question, but yes. I mean, Cody B's giving me the sign of the devil on the Radio Zero side of Radio Zero. This just reminds me that I was watching the Oscars with my mom because I was visiting my mom this week. Anyway, thanks Hank for being there. Thanks Hank for making Rattlesnake cables, and he started. He was going to start making pedals. He was going to be a pedal manufacturer too. I remember this. He was telling students, and then people just started, saying, "Hey, can you make me a cable?" And just realizing this is like, to me, this is like, what's the Coen Brothers movie that happens in
Hudsucker Proxy?
Nope, not that one. The one with the pregnant woman, Frances McDormand is pregnant.
Fargo?
Yes. This reminds me of Fargo, just like the mundane necessity of the, 10-cent stamp or whatever,
2-cent stamp.
2-cent stamp,
husband,
right. Yeah. And cables, like, I'm going to make pedals, pedals are cool and stuff. And then realizing, oh my God, everybody needs cables. And then he also talked about it starting just on a bench, and then his company starting on a bench, and then moving to 2 benches, and then just having so many orders that he's had to find other places in his house, and then finally having to move out.
And I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's a little on the down low, I think. But Mike, who put out our first record, does pedal manufacturing. He's a
Mike Potential.
Yeah,
he does pedal manufacturing.
Yeah,
okay.
I think he's got a series of guitar pedals.
And then also Balti has amps.
Balti makes amps.
Yeah, we don't ever have to go to Guitar Center ever again. Cody B says with the 40-string bass.
The guy with the 40-string bass.
And ZZ Top roadie bassist, he says.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for adding to that.
That was nuts. I saw that video myself.
All right, so back to me watching the Oscars with my mom. I don't know what you guys were doing.
Whoa, were we talking about that
No,
before?
I said, aside, I was watching, because you were talking about ZZ Top, and this reminded me of when I was waiting for the I am he or him. What is him I am? The Ken. I am Ken.
Oh. Yes.
My name's Ken. What was it? I'm Ken, whatever the song is. I was waiting for, and I knew that, what's the guy's name? Oh my God.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling was going to sing it. I knew it was going to be fabulous, but I didn't know that Slash was going to be there. So I'm like watching it. I'm like, Mom, this is fabulous, right? And, my mom's, hated Barbie.
She didn't like the movie. She saw the movie?
She fell asleep during it.
Oh.
We forced her to watch it, and we were like, oh my God, this is great. My mom's like, what the hell is my mom, is tired, gets tired at night. So she's like half falling asleep, and you can't, some of these movies you can't be falling asleep during. So, she hated it like most of the other feminists who are a little older than me. But meanwhile, I was just like, oh my God, and I don't even care about Ryan Gosling. I just wanted to see what kind of spectacle it was going to be. And there was Slash. And I remember just trying to explain to my mom, who's completely nonplussed about all this, who Slash was. Because I couldn't even remember. I was like, Slash is from what? Guns N' Roses. I knew that. I could have guessed that. I could have looked it up. Just trying to explain to her why it's funny that Slash is there with this big hat. And I couldn't.
Why it's funny. So was it funny? It
was funny.
Yeah, I mean,
and
I guess.
memorable. Like, it was just like apt, And that's all I have to say about the Oscars. Besides, I don't understand why Greta Gerwig didn't get. I mean, I suppose I understand why she didn't get nominated, but I feel like I think I watched the whole Oscars just to be angrier and angrier that she didn't get nominated. I didn't get that at all. And then my mom's like, who's that? When Billie Eilish is on there, and I'm like, that's Billie Eilish, Mom. I love her. I don't like her music, but I love her because she wears big, huge clothing that hides her body, and she doesn't have to be a sex pot. You focus on her more. And my mom's like, because my mom's from that time where you'd want to look nice for people, and for yourself. So she's like, and I'm like, but her eyes are really beautiful, Mom. Her eyes are really beautiful. And, Billie Eilish, she's got her eyes all scrunched up when she's singing. So she doesn't have them open or anything. And I'm like, God, Billie, open your eyes so my mom can see your eyes. And finally at the end, like the eclipse, she opens her eyes and my mom goes, oh my God, her eyes are beautiful.
That was the joke the younger and I were making when we were watching the Oscars. Is anytime you saw a shot of Bradley Cooper with his mother, it was always like, "Did you win?" It was just like we were just always doing. And I know she's a character, actually. Yeah, she's in commercials and stuff. But it was just like, yeah, the joke was the old mom saying things
agrees.
about the Oscars.
Oh yeah. Watching my mom.
Who's that?
Yeah. Watching the Oscars with my mom was like watching it with my dad. Like, is he gay? He's like my dad. Like any good-looking man on the Oscar, or, on any TV show, he's gay. He's gay.
To be fair, your dad knew that Richard Chamberlain was gay before Richard Chamberlain was out. That's what I always remember.
Before Richard Chamberlain did.
Yeah. I think that was the earliest he's gay that I heard from your dad. Would have been what was it? So would have been Shogun, or no, the Thornbirds probably, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. But
like,
the thing is, every single actor though was gay to my dad.
Yeah, that's the thing is,
except for the truck driver. Bruce Willis is
he's a truck driver. Bruce Willis is just a truck driver, and he's not. He's a bartender.
Oh yeah. Sorry,
but he actually was. So
yeah.
I think your dad had a pretty good handle on. Yeah.
So we've moved from Rattlesnake Cables to the Oscars. Is that okay? You want to?
Yeah, that's fine. Let's just let it flow.
Okay. All right. Well, what's on the list?
What else about the Oscars? Any other observations? I mean, it's already been a week, so I guess it's not worth talking about because the news cycle is over.
Yeah. And every single First of all, me and the younger one, we've been listening. All of us were watching the Bear again. We were rewatching because it's kind of fun to rewatch it with him.
How come the Bear wasn't nominated for an Oscar?
Yeah, exactly. So we were watching the Bear, and that Sufjan Stevens song comes on, the Chicago song, right?
Yeah.
It's at the beginning of one of the episodes, and we're like. I'm like, that's a great song. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just listen to it while we're driving to Champaign on Saturday. We play it, and then we got to play it again. And then I tell the younger that there was a grid that came out a while ago. Remember that like mapped rock stars to IQs? And like the highest IQ people listen to Sufjan Stevens. And when I saw that, I was like, haha, I don't listen to him, and I know I'm smart. And then I was like... So I was like, so that's either that's wrong or Sufjan. It's just dumb, And always in the back of my head was this like little like worry that like I should be listening to Sufjan Stevens. So we're driving in the car, and then I told him that, and he's like, oh, well, we're both smart, but we don't, we only like this one song, and it's the demo version too. It's not like we played the normal version, and it was like, eh. So we had to listen to the demo version from the Bear. I don't even know why this attaches to the Oscars.
Yeah, why
I need to finish.
Okay.
So and then Yeah, so then I'm like, what if we have to start listening? I know how it attaches. What if we have to start listening to Sufjan Stevens? And he's like, well, I'll pick the most, listened to song and we'll listen to it. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like having dread now because I'm going to have to like a new artist and like get into that and then be attached to it, right? So we listen to we go like about 20 or 30 seconds in and we're both like, ugh, and he goes, you want me to turn it off? And I go, yes. And he's like, good. So that was it. So this attaches, this somehow goes along with the Oscars because that fucking Poor Things movie, I did not watch that. And that was started winning stuff. I watched Oppenheimer. I understand we need to give Christopher Nolan prizes. I understand that because we didn't give him prizes for Tenet or whatever the tattoo movie was. I understand. Right? So I understand that he has to win all that
tattoo
stuff.
movie. I love it.
Memento, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally understand. I'm still mad about Barbie, but this and then the Poor Things, and it's got, what's his name? The Hulk in it, right?
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo.
The Gruffalo.
Who I really like him, But I like every time I see it, just when I see it, I'm like, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch that. And then I started thinking, oh man, am I going to have to watch that now? And because everything, like, oh, she was so great being a crazy person. I was like, oh, I'm a crazy person. Maybe I should watch that. And Mark Ruffalo's in it. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to have to watch this. But then my mom watched a little bit of it yesterday and she said it sucked. So I don't have to watch. She's like, I don't like dress up movies. And I'm like, yes, we don't either.
Barbie.
Did you watch it?
So she didn't like Barbie.
She didn't like Barbie because that's too, some of this stuff is like real esoteric. Now I want to know what you think about it. Chris, what? Poor Things? I didn't watch it. I haven't, Rick, did you watch it though? You always watch this stuff.
I started watching it, but I haven't finished watching it, and I'm not sure about it. I've seen a couple of things that people have written about it that seem, like it's not good. And so, I don't
like what's
and
not
I like
good,
the
like
director.
problematic, as in
I like the director.
Yeah.
I loved The Lobster, and well, I can't say that I loved Killing of a Sacred Deer, but it was. Oh, I think we could probably go back 4 or 5 years. I probably talked about it. It's the most Kubrickian, I think, of sort of contemporary direct. Like everybody wants to be Kubrick, or at least
Is it cinematography?
People, like directors, like Gen X directors, right? So like Christopher Nolan and M. Night Shyamalan.
Wait.
And who else? Oh, David Fincher, obviously. Like they all want to be Kubrick.
Wait,
right?
what is Kubrick? What does that mean?
Kind of like sterile, like slow pacing, like so anti music video pacing, so anti 80s and trying to do this slower pace.
Well, Christopher Nolan doesn't do this. He's got his whole like backwards forwards thing, right?
Yeah, he's got his thing, but it's still, but he's the most like Kubrick in the terms of making sort of grown-up films that are commercially successful, right? And so that was kind of Kubrickian for a while, right? Then it wasn't.
Chris is saying divisive, maybe about Poor Things.
Yeah. And
this divisive opinions. He says it's a movie that people had divisive, or he's saying that about Barbie. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know.
Well, so it's Kubrickian.
I don't think it is actually. Not that movie. The Killing of a Sacred Deer, it feels like that. Whereas now he's doing something else.
It's not Leanian, David Leanian.
No, it's not
Kubrickian.
It's a little Lynchian.
Oh, yeah.
There was too much. There were too many brains and stuff being worked on. I didn't like that.
I don't know why I don't like why I see.
Let's be frank. I mean, it's the Oscar-winning movies are shit. You know, I mean, those are the best movies ever made. I mean, I guess, yeah, Lawrence of Arabia. Wow, that's great. Yeah. I'm trying to think of all the Oscar-winning movies. It's like, what, Shakespeare in Love? Is that a great movie? You know, and and there's just a Planet Money all about. I mean, the more you know about like the Oscars process,
Oh,
and
yeah.
especially in the past 30 years, just the campaigning and the financial, the reasons why, you know,
Certain movies are coming out at
and
certain
when
times.
and the campaigns behind them and how they're set up as, you know, and so that was the thing, is apparently Poor Things was set up as an underdog, and so it was kind of being sold to members of the Academy as this is the vote, the surprise vote. Everyone thinks that, you know, especially in the nomination, right? Oh, Barbie's going to get something, or this is going to win, and they totally sold Poor Things as the sort of contrarian vote.
Did they
right?
talk about that on the Planet Money?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched that. And Chris Rieger watched the Planet or listened to the Planet Money on this, like the Planet Money podcast, so you can learn more about it if you don't know about it
Might
already.
be the indicator. I can't.
Yeah.
One of them.
No, I think it was Planet Money because
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I got to listen to that too.
It goes through the whole thing. I mean, kind of the Weinstein brothers and their kind of their blood blood sport, when it became a blood sport, like and then now how it's all about streaming, right? So it's about the streamers, you know, and then so Oppenheimer, it's all about, so you know, Christopher Nolan jumped from Warner Brothers, right, because of the whole streaming thing that happened during COVID, right? And Christopher Nolan went to Universal, and so basically this is Universal's tryout, basically. So it's like, okay, you financed the $100 million, you know, big epic film, you supported it, got in theaters, you know, and then the narrative was it saved the movies, right?
Because Christopher Nolan's you need to play this my movie in the movie theater
right.
guy.
But
He
also
doesn't want
from
it streaming,
Universal's perspective, why would they dump $50 million or however much it cost for an Oscars campaign, right? It can be, and so that was the thing, is like I think was it Shakespeare in Love, they actually spent more money on the campaign than the film. No, it was what was the one that Roma, that one? The black and white one on Netflix. They spent
Jeez,
more.
I don't even know.
Netflix spent more on the Oscar campaign than the film actually cost to produce. So but Universal, it's basically they dumped a huge amount of money in the Oscar campaign for it so that they can get the next Christopher Nolan film, because he's basically a free agent now, right? He had that loyalty to Warner Brothers and just walked. Right.
So yeah, and also like this is another reason I think I know why I didn't want to watch Poor Things, because like for the month before the Oscars, I started getting ads, or maybe 2 weeks before the Oscars, most likely on my Facebook or Instagram, I was getting big full page ads that I needed to watch Poor Things.
Yeah.
Like I was getting ads about that. And when I get ads about a movie, it seems cheap to me. It cheapens it. You know, like I'm going to get an ad about the next Marvel movie probably because, you know, no one's going to want to go see it. So it seems desperate. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, what the hell's going on? You know, I didn't get any Oppenheimer ads, and I didn't get Barbie ads either. So I think that's, you know, and I'm not saying that's right. I'm an idiot for that. And I take after my dad for that. So, okay, Alberto Valderrama Guzman says, welcome to Peru. Thank you, Alberto. And Chris Rieger is asking, what do you both think was the best of the nominees? But I want to go on the other side here because we got a whole bunch of Cody stuff here. KOASD is amazing. I don't know what that is. It's a movie probably. Oh, Jonathan Glazer's Zone of Interest, all her movies.
Yeah,
all his movies are cool. I want to watch that with you, please. And Kubrickian, Under the Skin. That's it. Yeah.
I haven't seen Under the Skin.
Okay.
What were the nominees?
Like for best movie?
Yeah, there were 10 of them, so that was.
Oh God, yeah, 10 of them, and one of them wasn't Barbie.
So I haven't spent. I saw Maestro because it was already up on streaming. I whatever. Killers of the Flower Moon, I thought was good.
Yeah.
But I thought it was did I give it? No, I gave Oppenheimer and Barbie the same. I think of them as the same. I'm not sure what I think Killers of the Flower Moon is another. Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember my Letterboxd reviews. Killers of the Flower Moon, I think I have in the same league as Barbie and Oppenheimer, like 3.5 stars out of 5. Kind of, it's just like, you know. But I haven't seen The Holdovers, which I want to see. I want to see American Fiction. The more I see, like I got to stop watching clips of American Fiction. I haven't seen Zone of Interest. I want to see that. Anatomy of a Fall. Definitely want to see that.
Yeah, I kind of want to see. Oh,
Past
so we haven't
Lives
seen
I
any
wasn't aware of, but I should probably watch that too. Yeah, I should probably. Yeah, they're all look interesting.
Chris Rieger loved The Holdovers. Oh,
Yeah.
that's the one with the. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we have a lot of movies we need to watch.
And I'm just being a cheapskate. I'm just not paying to.
Yeah, Killing of a Sacred Deer. Okay,
Yeah,
Cody
Killing
liked Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Yeah, and like is it's maybe not the right word for, and I appreciated it.
Okay, you know what? So the movie Inside Llewyn Davis, right? Is that
Yeah,
like that came out this year, right?
Inside Llewyn Davis.
Yeah,
No,
did
that's like 10 years
Oh,
old.
it's 10 years old. Never
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Godzilla -1. Kevin Dunham says should have swept them all. Kidding, sort of. It was phenomenal. They made it exactly like a 70s film. It's awesome, Chris is saying.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Should watch that.
Yeah. Okay, sorry then. I know that there's other movies that we watched. Yeah, so it doesn't cover the Oscars doesn't cover all the movies. So to me it's kind of like the Grammys and the Emmys, you know, it's just like who's in the commercial bucket? Like who got thrown in the commercial bucket? Who's the underdog? It's like a show. It really is a show. I'm trying to remember. I had one other thing to say about it and I can't now. I can't remember what it was. The kid was calling all the winners, right? You said.
Yeah, he's in touch with. Yeah, he knew Poor Things was going to win everything. It was weird. He hasn't seen. He's seen Oppenheimer and Barbie, I think. Right.
Yeah, both our sons liked Barbie better than our Oppenheimer. I know. I need to see Oppenheimer again. I think I only saw it once, and I don't really like nuke movies, but I'll watch it because I know there's a nuke in it. I mean, I know it's historical nuke, but I think that I maybe need to watch it on the TV set with the subtitles, so I know what's going on. Fucking Christopher Mumbles Nolan, right? He's the one. He's the one guy. He doesn't even. Yeah,
it's a Beckett thing.
Yeah,
it's a Samuel Beckett thing.
Okay,
I think.
Sure.
It's like intentional.
I know.
Obscuring.
I know, but I then I don't know what's good. When you watch a movie with the subtitles on, you know who's talking. Also, you know everybody's names too. You can even get there's spoilers sometimes because you'll be like in the background, this person's voice is heard. Oh,
I like it, the subtitles when they're speaking English, but then those foreign movies where I have to read, I don't like that.
I mean, yeah.
No.
Okay.
What's
all right. Next?
I lost my topics. You want to talk a little bit about you went on a trip to see your mother and you used the Apple Vision Pro?
Oh, yes. Yes, I went to Florida. I visited my beautiful, wonderful mom, who's living alone now because my dad, passed away. My dad died. I don't know, in September or October, I can't remember. So my mom's all alone. So it was my first time visiting her and seeing what life is like. They're all alone for her. And, she's got 3 cats in the house still. She's persevering. She's playing pickleball. She took a capoeira class with me. That was fun. She did the exercises and stuff like that. So she's awesome. But, she's got depression like all of us. And she's also she's
Wow.
Yeah. But okay, maybe you don't have depression.
No, just
TMI.
Oh, it's just
but
she's got depression like everybody does.
Yeah,
it
we all
diminishes.
Okay,
her.
well, good. No. So everybody's depression is very important.
Everybody's sad.
Well, anyway, so I'm trying to think of what we did. We just hung out. What did we do? We fought, things that moms and usual stuff. Apparently we were having a fight and I didn't even know it, so that was good. And then
That sounds
probably I
familiar.
was probably having what?
Nothing.
Fuck you. Really? I think it's a fight and you don't, right?
Exactly. That's what I was
okay.
saying.
All right. That's good. That's
You
good.
said that
Yeah.
a couple episodes ago. It's like,
Okay.
oh, that fight we had a couple weeks ago. And I was like, what?
Well, okay. I'm just trying. Yeah, one of the things that we worked on was she has a pool and a hot tub, and that's a really interesting controller mechanism for that. But I can talk about that later.
Why don't you talk about So
coming back. I decided that. Yeah, I'm trying. When you're in Florida, you just run into things like, I was at her doctor's office, and there's like a sign up in the doctor's office that says you may be asked to wear a mask. If you're obviously sick, and then it says, like, one of the rules says, please be kind to people who have decided to wear masks. Like, that's one of the rules you're supposed to follow in the doctor's office, is to be kind to people.
Yeah, like, so Florida, sometimes you see that signs like that in Austin, like, don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
I remember, like,
yeah.
you can't bring a gun, into this place of business. You can't
Don't bring a gun into
the hospital.
into the gun shop.
Don't abuse people for wearing masks.
Yeah, but that's what the sign said. So that was all interesting. So I decided on the way back that I have an Apple Vision Pro headset, VR headset.
You thought, I'm in Florida. I'm flying out of Florida. I'm going to be an asshole.
Yeah, and that was the only way I could, or a knife fight. Kevin, don't bring a gun to a knife fight. Yeah.
It's funny.
So I wore the Apple Vision Pro headset on the plane, and I have this because thanks to Roy Magnuson, who wrote a fellow faculty member who wrote a grant and got a bunch to study, and so it's important to.
By a bunch, you mean two, right?
No, he got at least three.
Really?
Yeah,
wow!
yeah.
I thought there were just two. Wow!
Oh no!
That's
There's
a lot
not
of money.
No,
like,
yeah,
what?
yeah.
Ooh,
That's
a lot of money.
That
That is a lot of money.
Yeah. So when I first heard about the Apple Vision Pro headset, and I hate VR. I don't like it. I used to work in it, and I think it's stupid. But when I first heard about it, I thought it was a game changer, Rick. Let me just tell you, it was a game changer because, like, you can put big screens in front of your face. You can have as many big screens as you want. And that's all I want, is to be able to work and have lots of big screens in front of me.
All I want to do is work more.
That's what I want.
I just need to work more. So buy me a $3,000 headset.
Well, okay, or a $3,000 screen, or
Yeah.
a whole bunch of screens that are going to go bad in 5 years, and then I'm going to have to throw them away in some special dump. No, this is just a tiny little stupid headset. So it's nice. So there's two ways you can wear it. Like the headset's got like apps built into it, and it goes online, so you can wear it like one of the cellular iWatches, right? And you can watch movies and stuff through whatever apps work on the Vision Pro headset. Or if you sit in front of an Apple laptop, and I don't know if it works on, I know it works on my laptop, and there's like a Connect thing where all your screens will just go into the headset. And so that's what happens. So you can sit on the plane, and I think the Hard Fork guys talked about this. I think you said that. You can sit on the plane, and the asshole in front of you is going to lean back, so you can't, so your laptop is closed against your boobs, right? Your boobs can't see your laptop, but when the person sits back, that's what you get. Your screen is like touching your boobs. Doesn't matter, because if you have the headset on, you can put as many different screens anywhere that you want, and you only have to pinch your fingers together really close to your body in order to move stuff, and it moves the things. You select stuff with your eyes. It really works. It just really works.
And I think you talked about this.
Yeah,
last episode
you control it with hand
how it
movement,
works.
Tina's asking, how do you control it? By hand movement and eye movement. So you app select by looking at something. You'll see when you look at something, the little thing will like pop a little bit bigger, and then you just take your fingers and tap them together like I'm doing right now. I've got my fingers in front of me, and I'm making like an OK symbol. It's crazy. It's like I had a feeling it was going to be like a neat productivity tool. So
And so that's what it wasn't. So for you, but you used it on the plane. You were working on the
I
plane?
was working. Oh yeah, I did all kinds of work on the plane, and then I also I was sitting in because the plane was delayed for 12 hours. So I was sitting in the airport before the plane was even delayed. I was sitting in the airport, and you see through it too, so you can see people staring at you. So I had like I at some point I noticed there was a guy like staring at like a guy in a like two people staring at me, and I heard somebody say, "No, it's a girl's head in there. That's a girl's head."
like
Look at that asshole. No, it's a girl.
Oh, so it's wow. So women can use it too.
I know, yeah,
It's VR for ladies.
Yeah, I think it probably is. It's like the Starbucks of VR or something like that.
Wow.
What was the
What a
other thing that
slogan.
happened to me on the way back was like I'm like you meet all these people that like you're sitting there. The plane is supposed to leave at 9 p.m. and you're sitting there. And we've been sitting there for 3 hours with these people who are going to Bloomington. We're in Atlanta and we're going to Bloomington, Illinois. So we're all from Bloomington, Illinois, obviously. Or
Because
or
why would
Rivian.
someone fly from Atlanta to Bloomington, Illinois, unless they, we're going back home,
Yeah,
right?
because
There
the
is
plane, the
absolutely-
next plane was going to Peoria, so
Yeah,
like you're
yeah,
not
yeah.
even like that's it. So you're going to Bloomington. So we're all nice Bloomington Midwesterners, and Bloomington people are way nicer than Champaign people. They don't have anything to prove, Seriously. Okay, Cody is if the universe is a simulation and you go into VR, where are you?
reality.
Okay,
Is that
thank
how
you.
that works?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, but then we're all like kind of talking and joking, and then everybody gets like a little on their phone, and everybody looks at their phone, and it says your plane has been delayed till 9 a.m. the next morning, and we're like, what? And everybody starts laughing. A couple of people get up and march off really angrily, but everybody else.
Everybody's laughing,
Yeah, well,
and a
it
few
was-
people are running at high speed towards
Actually,
the
yeah,
counter.
they were.
about
They-
to,
like,
about to stab.
Actually, a lot of people ran
Yeah.
towards the counter like
Yeah. Yeah.
because at 9 o'clock you're not getting back to Central Illinois. Sorry, that's not going to happen for you. So yeah, that was exciting.
But the VR world helped you in this process. Helped.
No, I felt really bad. Like I was like, do I want to look like an asshole or not? And then I decided like I want to look like an asshole. Yeah, it was really weird. Like I'd have no problem like pulling off my shirt or like or like wearing something stupid like in an airport, but like wearing a dumb t-shirt or something like that. But putting a headset on felt weird.
Yeah. Well, you're an early adopter. Pretty soon it'll be just the world will be full of people wearing those things.
So doubt it. Cody says, back to life, back to reality. I was like, I got a whole, it's, well, you have big screens in your studio.
I have one big screen, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Our old TV. Like 15-year-old TV.
All right. What else you got?
Well, we should talk about Mark Rubel, who passed away last weekend. So Mark ran Pogo Studio in Champaign, Illinois for many years. Probably about 30 years? Yeah. I think, 25. He moved a couple years after we did, and he was there. Well, he grew up in Champaign. He wasn't born there, but was involved in what did we record at Pogo? We recorded RTFM at Pogo. We recorded the Second Salaryman record at Pogo.
Do we record some like singles there
Yeah,
too?
and we recorded some singles, one-offs kind of things. We recorded the superhero song that's in the what is that?
The Hall of Fame. Let's just say
the Fox After School, special or whatever it was, that show. Scooby Doo is Music of America. We did. Oh yeah, actually we did record Music of America at Pogo. That was So all of our RTFM was recorded at Pogo.
Wow. Cody is saying "Downward is Heavenward."
Yeah, the
hum record was
third,
recorded
fourth.
there.
I should know this, but is that the fifth? I should know. Fourth hum record, right? Yeah.
Cody is
yeah.
saying R.I.P., which is probably rest in power or rest in peace. You know, I've seen that.
Yeah. So Hum recorded their fourth record there, and just an amazing place. And so I told this. I wrote a little story up on Facebook about what happened, but you can help me out with this because I was trying to remember. Is like so. I think the first time we met Mark is so there used to be Pogo Studio was kind of in this kind of like warehouse space, very thin though, kind of like store warehouse kind of space, and then originally there was a storefront kind of behind the
there was a guitar store.
yeah, and a guitar store was in the storefront, and then the back of that guitar store opened up
Now
into
I totally yeah
control room of Pogo, and so we went into the
because we wanted to bring Jawbox to the guitar store. Why did Jawbox want to go to the guitar store?
So Jawbox had played the night before at the Blind Pig, I think. And so this would have been in the early 90s. And then, they stayed at our loft, which was right around at the time we were living in a loft in downtown Champaign. And so at that time, downtown Champaign we were in that loft. The Blind Pig had opened. And then there was, Pogo was there. And there were a couple other I think the ACAC people were still in a loft. But it was
Rock
mostly
City, the ACAC Hotel.
Rock City was earlier, but
Okay.
that had gotten torn down, and the News Gazette had built a building,
That's
so
right.
that was later or earlier. But it was still kind of downtown Champaign was a ghost town. If you go to downtown Champaign now, it's full of bars and hotels and
People
skyscrapers.
shooting each other.
Yeah. But it was a ghost town pretty much when we lived there, and the Blind Pig. Yeah, typical kind of environment where the club opens up in the in the sketchiest part of town, even and so with and the recording studios and and the band lofts, right? We're all that's what it was, that population. But anyways, and then somebody had opened up that guitar store. I think that's where I got one of my high watts. A guy had amazing stuff in there, like old tube amps.
Right in the center of our town.
He had a 400 watt high watt, which I'd never seen before, which I think was for a PA or something, or maybe it was just a 200 watt. It was a crazy high watt amp that he had that was too expensive, but it was still reasonably priced vintage gear because everybody was the metal guy and wanted solid state amps at the time. So anyways.
So we walk in, it's a Sunday morning, right?
Yeah. So
did Jawbox have a fight? Did they have a fight?
I don't know.
Probably not.
Jay wanted to get his haircut. He went and got a haircut. We went out for breakfast. I don't know if we went to Sam's Cafe. We probably went to Sam's Cafe, had breakfast, and then we took him over to see the guitar store. And we walk in there.
It was a Sunday morning.
Was it? I don't know.
Yes.
It was open, and we walked in, and completely no one was in there.
We were walking around there
Door
for
open, we're
like a
like
good
looking.
25 or 30 minutes, and at some point we're starting to think there's nobody here.
Yeah.
We could just walk off with all these guitars.
It's like vintage guitars and amps. And so finally we go behind the counter.
So we're trying to figure out who, we weren't going to steal anything. We're like, oh, we better
we gotta
find
lock the door.
Yeah, we got to figure out how to get this place locked and find the owner who we didn't know.
And so we walked around behind the counter, and there was a door, and we knocked on it, and then Mark opened it up, and he was there, and there was somebody else, and it was his control room was kind of butted up. And later on, Pogo expanded out into the storefront. The control room got bigger, but at the time, it was just like, and I said it was like the Wizard of Oz when she opens the door. It was just like, holy crap! There's an analog recording studio. Well, at the time, most stuff was still analog, but it was like, holy cow! There's like a real recording studio right behind this door, and that was the first time we met Mark. And then got to know him, and he was in this band Captain Rad and the Blind Rivets, which was a kind of 50s, 60s cover band, but totally nuts, right? It was a show. They had goofy stuffed animals and all sorts of props and
Lots of
just
props.
yeah, like an over the top party band, not a boring cover band, like a total over the top experience. And yeah, I think I did I? No, I don't think I did the Pogo website. I definitely did the Captain Rat website.
I forgot
and
that
early,
you did that stuff.
one of the Star Castle websites. So Gary, who was in Star Castle, hung around and did some engineering at the studio. And yeah, and so the thing is that Mark had a studio that was analog, vintage equipment, vintage gear. And so this was at the time when everything was transitioning digital. And so it was just, I think it was probably the first place I don't know. I saw Tape Op. He definitely had Tape Op magazine when it was a fanzine, or it was like, that was a connection where it was like, oh, you've got Tape Op too, and so it was really cool.
Gentle, kind.
Oh yeah.
Brilliant.
Great stories about everything.
Yeah.
Had actually, talking about Oppenheimer, had been in Einstein's office at Princeton, right? His father was a mathematician, Mark's father, and then the family had moved to Champaign. His father taught, and his mother was a reporter. And so, but yeah, like Mark had been on Einstein's knee, he said, had been in his office when he was a little baby.
Has anyone contacted you to tell stories about? Because
they're going to do something in the News Gazette.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Because they contact me, and I
He was in our movie. Him and his wife Nancy.
That's right.
Beauty
and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
So the little scene, the little video of Beauty and the Beast, he's wearing one of his masks. So he collected. So that was the other thing, is he was one of those people. So it's hard to imagine now, but it was like, so there was the hipster kind of thing where you collected old retro stuff, not just vintage equipment, but just like crazy shit. I'm trying to look around our house. Like, we've got all of your dad's little presidents of the United States little figurines and stuff. It's just like crap like that, just like weird not retro, just old school,
just
tchotchkes
memorabilia. Yeah.
What's the word for it? Kitsch, right?
Kitsch,
and so have all
kitsch.
He collected all sorts of crap like that. And so it was like a kindred spirit. Definitely had I think that's in our video, right? Like a video of the basement.
The basement,
which he finally cleared out, but it was
a wonderland.
Yeah, so he had the length of the building was the studio, but then he had a length of the basement there too, and it was just filled like an RCA dog. And I'm trying to think of what kind of stuff. When you went down there and filmed, it was just
magical
amazing.
Things.
So he was a kindred spirit in that respect. Also, yeah, definitely like not healthy for someone like me, where it's like, oh, I need to get rid of all this equipment I've bought and all my old shit. And then it's like you see this person who's like 10 years older than you, who's got, basically 50 or 40 years of
more
stuff.
Shit. And he's still, he's doing fine. He's got all this stuff. He's got a space
great.
for it.
Yeah.
So do you remember that? Do you remember we were at Dale from Steel Pole Bathtub's house? Or whose house was it? Who's in North Carolina?
It was Dale.
Okay,
I don't know what you're talking about, but I do remember.
The
Octagon. That was that where we saw the Octagon? Yeah. Okay. So Dale had the Octagon.
I'm crazy, which I'm crazy.
No, I bet that's what it was.
I think Dale had an Octagon. We were like, oh my god, he's showing us. So an Octagon is like a organ, like a.
It's basically an
early
version
organ.
of a sampler, but not as expensive as a whatchamacallits, a Mellotron. So Mellotrons use tape loops to play. So the beginning of Strawberry Fields, like by the Beatles, that flute sound, it's tape loops that are played by like each key on the keyboard would have this rack of tape, or each key would have a tape loop, and you'd hit the key and it would play a loop of an actual flute, sort of playing. And so you get that weird sound.
And we've
Whereas
talked
an
about
Octagon was an optical disc, so it used that optical film technology, the way film soundtracks were done. And so you'd put in this clear plastic record, and it had all these waveforms, and when you hit a key, it would play the loop, bass, through optical methods.
Is there an Octagon song on any of our songs?
I don't think I ever wound up using it.
But
And
it's
so anyways,
samples.
we must have been working on RTFM, and I was like, I told Mark, oh, have you ever seen an Octagon? And I was like,
he hadn't.
He hadn't heard of it. And I was like, oh my God. And then the next time we were at the
He
studio-
called us. You should come over here. I want to show you something. We came over, and there were 5 Octagons set up in a row, like the Atlanta Hartfield Airport, like set up in a row, 5. And these are like giant, like upright pianos. There were 5 of them.
It was like, what did he said, yeah, you told me about the Octagon. And then I called, and it was like the music store, right? One of the music stores, he was like, he went over there and they had them in the warehouse. It was like, have you ever heard of the and then it was like
procured
found it.
them.
Yeah,
He had, like,
somehow
I
in
think
like
he
a couple of weeks
wanted- yeah.
found 5 in various states of
disrepair,
Disrepair.
like brokenness, and he's
Yeah.
like, choose one. It was like the Karate Kid. It was like Mr. Miyagi, and so we
I had an
a-
Octagon in the basement.
You
for,
still have one? Or-
No,
yeah, we
and
got
so
rid
that's
of
the
it,
thing
right,
is then when we moved, when we were leaving Champaign to come here to Bloomington Normal, I brought it back to him, and then I think he got rid of it, sold it when he moved. Actually, I was looking through my emails from him, and it was like 2 years after I had returned it to him. He was like, I'm leaving for Nashville. Do you have my Octagon? And I'm like, no, I gave it back to you and sent it like 2 or 3 years ago. And he's like, oh, wow, I wonder where it is. So hopefully he found it, but we definitely had returned it.
I mean, I guess I have a story about the RCA dog in their basement. It was that we, I was recording when we recorded. Was it RTFM?
Yeah.
It would have been RTFM, right? Like videotaping down there because it was a wonderland, and that's where we were recording the record. And and when and then there's a little bit of videotape of where we recorded the record on RTFM. So RTFM, the CD, one of the CDs we put out on Warner Brothers, the track 0 has computer data on it.
And so I just went through that. I found some of the videos, and then I had to convert them, but I could not find the one that goes through that basement.
Oh,
It was weird.
Yeah. It's hard to find. Wait, were you able to play the video? Or were you able to play that?
No.
We need to have like
All right. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, but anyway, but so when Warner Brothers saw it, they were like, "Oh, that RCA dog, you can't have that in there," and that was before you could edit that out. So I got them to agree. I've said this on Radio Zero before. I got them to agree that if I put a black bar over the dog's eyes in the video, then I could keep it there. It's so stupid. They're just fucking with us the whole time. Okay.
Anyways, yeah. So
So
that
Mark
was
Rubel.
sad. He was a great guy, wonderful part of our musical lives, and such an important person in the Champaign scene. I think the last time we saw him would have been that he came back and we came back and did a thing at the Sousa Center, talked about the Champaign scene. So that would have been, I don't know what, 5 or 6 years ago. I think it was probably the last time we saw him. We'd all come back to town for a little memory presentation. All of us trying to remember things. a panel of old people trying to remember things that happened.
There was also one of those in the library too, right? That's where I met the guy.
Oh yeah, there was
I can't
another one.
remember.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
was the one at the Sousa Center, though,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
All right. What else you got?
don't know. We're close to an hour
I
here.
know.
What else? Crypto? No, we don't need to talk about crypto.
I saw Ethereum was past 4,000 and now it's down again to 3,600. Or it was, not that it matters, but you have a bunch of Ethereum still.
Well, I wouldn't say I have a bunch. I have some. Yeah. But for those of you who were like what's it called? Bitcoin people, it actually did. It hit an all-time high and was doing much better. So what I don't understand is why Ethereum has been following the ups and downs of Bitcoin, and then for the past 2 years, where there's, I would have liked them to have been independent,
Yeah.
and totally connected, but for some reason in the past 2 weeks, Ethereum decided, no, well, we'll go up a little bit, but we're not going to go up to an all-time high and break records, like Bitcoin did. But it all
so Rick
crashed
can
down
sell
again.
all of his
Yeah,
and buy a Rivian.
Yeah, that's not
Not
going
a
to happen.
sponsor.
Yeah, I don't have that much unless something nuts happens.
Oh.
What?
I saw. How come nobody commented that I saw the Cybertruck?
Nobody cares about the Cybertruck.
Oh man, people
You
in the
saw
mall
it?
care. Yeah,
people
it was
in the mall.
It was in the Tesla shop in the mall. There's a
That should
Tesla
tell you
shop in the
everything.
mall. But yeah, by my mom's house. And like my mom was like, "What's that?" My mom didn't care to look at it, but like
I don't care to look at it.
I know nobody.
I mean,
nobody but
and
like people were coming. I like walked in and I was like, I got to get a selfie with this thing. Send it to my family who cares less about it than I do.
You sent us a picture. Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah,
that was
me
you
with the Cybertruck.
making a face with a selfie with the Cybertruck. I forgot about that.
And while I was in there, another lady came in, and I was like looking at her, and she's like, she turns around and like takes a selfie with the Cybertruck too. And then more people just kept coming in and taking the selfie with the Cybertruck.
I just saw something fly by on my news feed where it said Tesla's asking people to stop shooting their Cybertrucks. So apparently, guys take them out to the desert and then make videos of them shooting the Cybertruck.
Yeah, the woman who took her selfie with it, she goes, it's bulletproof. And I was like
that's. It's like
it's bulletproof. I'm in Florida. I'm going to go buy myself a pair of sneaker Vans.
Let's colonize Mars so all of the rich people can leave this Earth we've drained of life. And then, you know what? But if I have to drive to the launch pad, I need a bulletproof car. So let's build that too. I might need to drive across country, Mad Max style, as the planet is collapsing. So why don't we build a vehicle for that too? That's my thought. It's apocalypse design. And I'm not, I think I'm an open-minded, forward-thinking, I'm willing to accept, strange visual and design concepts, unique. I'm not offended. Our younger child saw what was it called? That car from like 10, 15 years ago, the Cube.
Oh yeah.
That's asymmetrical.
He likes it.
No.
He
hates
doesn't.
It.
Oh, okay.
He's like, I hate that car. And I was like, it was groundbreaking, a revolutionary design. What did I call it? And he said, if nobody else followed that design, it's not groundbreaking or revolutionary. It's just bad, right? It's like it didn't change anything. It's just like ugly and weird. So that, but
he has a point.
Yeah, but I feel that way about the Cybertruck.
I know what to add. Do you have any anticipation for the eclipse? The Great American Eclipse?
Well, I just read the New York Times has the cloud cover predictor.
Oh, yeah.
And so Carbondale, Illinois is at that time of day and time of year, 62% chance of cloudy skies.
Well, let's drive to Austin then. Let's drive to Austin. Let's go crazy. We have friends. We have all kinds of people we know in Austin. Let's go there.
And again, I
Okay,
mean, you've said that
can't.
before. It's
All
like
right, yeah,
on a Monday.
Kind of far.
That's not going to happen. We're not going to drive, not going to spend a week driving to and from Texas.
Train. Oh, yeah. Actually, I read something. Yeah, I know. I read something that said, like, if you're going to Carbondale or something, make sure you bring water and gas. We should have the Cybertruck probably for the Great American Eclipse.
Just so we can plow over everybody.
Well, we saw one eclipse. You've seen one eclipse. You've seen them all.
All right. I think we're done.
Damn it. Thanks for listening.
You're welcome.